Hi, welcome to Tech Time. Today we're going to be looking at a special program that will be a nice alternative to the Microsoft Office suite. It's called LibreOffice Suite, and it's something you can download for free. It's open source software, which means that it's free to use and free to obtain. We do have a video on how to get it if you look through our tech shorts, or just look it up on the internet. It's called LibreOffice. So sit back and enjoy. Make sure you download that program before you watch the rest of this video, and we'll show you how to get started in LibreOffice Suite today on Tech Time. So LibreOffice Suite, just to quickly show you, if you type in LibreOffice and then do a search, it'll come up as LibreOffice.org. When we click on that, it'll take us to the official website. So this is open source. That means that the tech community has worked together to create this software, and they don't charge. It's open for people to make improvements on, make changes to, or download as is and just use it. So you would choose to download now, and then just follow the step-by-step process for getting it installed and put on your computer. Again, check out our video. We have a easy short video explaining all of this and how to do it. Once you have LibreOffice Suite on your computer, you can easily access it. So it'll create a desktop icon on your computer, just like all the other programs that you might have. And then, unlike Microsoft, which has all of the programs kind of separate on the computer, they're on there, but they're separate. So you have all the different programs here that you can just click on. LibreOffice creates a single button that will open up the entire thing. So on my computer, it's right here. It says LibreOffice. When you click on it and open it, then it'll show you the different programs that are available through its suite. It'll also show you recent documents that you may have worked on or created. But right here is our list of all the different programs provided by LibreOffice Suite. These are all free programs. You get the whole bundle when you download the software. You do get a few templates that you can use in these different programs. And of course the option to open any files that you have saved. Now that can be an important thing. If you previously used like Microsoft Word, or you have documents that you've saved using Microsoft Word or WordPerfect or some other program, Google Sheets, Google Type, whatever you're using. If you have these saved files on your computer or on a flash drive or somewhere you can access them, you can open these files using this program. It is completely integratable with all the other programs of similar types. For example, when I open Writer, which I'm going to open by clicking on it, Writer is a typing program. And if you look at the screen, it's very similar to a Microsoft Word screen or similar to the Google screen. So Google Docs, Microsoft Word, WordPerfect, these are all typing programs, and they are all able to be read on this program. So if I go to File and I go to Open and I go to my documents, anything I have here that is a Word type document will open up. So these are some Word documents here. Here's a Word document. I can just click on any one of these and it opens right up. Okay. So don't think that downloading this program you're going to be stuck only using this program. You can open up other documents. You can even save this document and open it up in other programs as well. So if you created something using Writer, you can open it up in Word, or you can open it up in Google Docs. So let's go back into Writer and take a look. One of the things you'll notice about the LibreOffice suite is they have similar buttons across the board of their programs, just like Microsoft. You get used to seeing the different toolbars that are offered through Microsoft. Of course, they call them something different, but it's the same thing when you're using LibreOffice. There's some buttons that are pretty much the same, and then some that are a little bit different, but the layout's going to be similar throughout each of their programs. So once you get used to one, it's really easy to fall into another one. The biggest leap that I think people have trouble with is looking at this toolbar that LibreOffice gives you versus the ribbon that you typically get from Microsoft. The Microsoft ribbon will change based on all the different menus that you open up. Here, this toolbar is static. It's permanent. It does not change. Now, it will slightly alter for different things, like if you are working with a picture, some of the buttons will switch up to give you picture buttons, or if you're working in a table, some of the table buttons will pop up. But for the most part, these buttons stay pretty much the same. If you want to find things that are not located in the toolbars, that's when you'll have to go into the different menus. So let's start taking a tour of this program, which is Writer, just so you can see some of the similarities and differences between other programs you might be used to. So our file menu is always going to be our command controls. That's where you can open up new documents, old documents, save as, all those fun command things, printing, print preview, change properties. So all that can be found under the file menu, which is standard. Editing tools are pretty much the same around the board as well. Typically under editing, you're going to have your undo, redo, your cut, copy, paste, your select all, things that basically are going to help you edit the document. Doesn't mean that the editing tools themselves are here, but these do lead to the ability to edit. Once you've selected or chosen the things that you're going to change, that's when you start coming into some of these other tabs. Now the Insert tab does kind of what it sounds like. It's going to add something to your document. So add images, add a page break, add charts, add text boxes, add links, special characters, page numbers, header, footer. All that is part of adding to the document. You also have your format buttons. Formatting is the actual changes you're going to make to the text, to the document. So for text specifically, you have your bold, italic, underline, and some of the other text options that you typically look for. A lot of those are also going to be just simply located here. Okay, so you have your font, what kind of font you want to use, the size of your font, your bold, italic, underline, strikeout, etc. all right there. So all the same kind of things that you're going to find in the format text area. Spacing has to do with the line spacing between lines or sentences. So if you want double spacing, single spacing, whatever it is that you actually need, and then your paragraph spacing as well when you make a new paragraph. Alignment is also here, your left, centered, right, or justified. Also visible here. So here's your alignment, here's your spacing, here's your paragraph spacing. Okay, characters, format the paragraph itself. If you want to add bullets and numbering, again, bullets and numbering is also located here. If you want to add in a title page, if you need to add in a watermark, like for your eyes only, or private, or you know, those kinds of things to let people know. Draft. Image is also here to make changes to the image. So format the image, like cropping, replacing with a different image, adding text boxes, shapes, all that's right here. Your wrap, when you add a picture. So any actual physical changes you need to make to things in the document will be done in the Format tab. There's a Style tab for playing with your headings and subheadings. It also helps with other things like how you want your letters to show up, like uppercasing, lowercasing. There's a Form tab if you want to create forms within this document. Tools, which has your spell check, your thesaurus, all the little helpful things that you come across. And then, of course, the Window tab. Now, again, most of the popular controls are going to be in your toolbar. We've already discussed some of them. But you have over here your new open, save, print, cut, copy, paste. We've talked about those. There's your cloning, your spell check, paragraph formatting. So they try to make it as easy as they can by putting most of the tools that you're going to use in the actual toolbar that doesn't change, and then the special ones that you might not use as often loaded up here in the menu tabs, so that they're still accessible. You just got to find the right tab and find what you're looking for. Now, in this class, we're not going to focus so much on how to run the program itself. Mostly I'm just going to kind of guide you through so that you can get started using the program. We do have videos on word processing and using spreadsheets, so please refer to those videos if you want to learn specifically how to use these individual programs. Typing, pretty standard. You click into the space here, it's like a giant text box, and you just simply start typing in the information that you need. So for example, I'm going to type in my name here. I want to make changes to it. I just highlight. So that's what it looks like when you highlight. Now I can make it bold, change the font type, change the size. Any of those types of changes I can make just by highlighting what I want to change. Of course, I can make it center, left, right, change the line spacing in between to double spacing. Hello everyone. Insert an image if I need to, so click insert image, or I can just simply go to the image button in my toolbar, find a picture. Here's a dog with roses. Notice that the picture comes up. I can shift it around a little bit. I hit it too many times. I can move it around a little bit on the screen. Toolbar has changed slightly to accommodate the fact that I am working with a picture and not working with text. That's why these things have changed. So these are all about working with the picture, how I want it to wrap, where do I want it anchored, do I want a border around it, what color do I want that border to be, how thick do I want the border to be, do I want to flip it, reverse it, slide it, twist it. Sound like I'm playing with a bop it right now, but all those options pop up. All right, now saving, as I mentioned, is not a big deal because when you save a document using this program, it gives you a few options. So let's check out those options. I'm going to go to File, Save As. Okay. When this screen pops up, this is your chance to rename the document to whatever you want it to be called. But what most people don't know is the type of document is going to be underneath that. And this is where you get to make some choices, some decisions. It's up to you. The ODF text document is basically the open source method for saving text. So any kind of typing documents. What that means is if I save it using this open format, I can open it with Microsoft Word. I can open it in Google Docs. I can open it in WordPerfect. Anything that is considered a typing program of that nature will open this file. I can also choose to save it in a different format. And there are different formats available to me here. Notice that Microsoft Word is one of those options, and the newer version is listed right there. It's not the newest version, but it is a newer version that will allow me to save it as a Microsoft Word document and then open it up in Microsoft Word if I am choosing to do that. Or maybe I just like that format. It's totally up to you. There are other options. You can save it as rich text. Rich text is a very basic, generic way of saving a document. I guarantee it will open just about anything. The one advantage to using rich text is if I wanted to use this document on an Apple computer using their typing software, rich text would probably be the best choice because it's so generic that it will actually open up on a Mac. Versus if I saved it as one of the others, it's still considering it in a PC format, which is a different format than what the Apples use. So you could have a hard time opening this document if you save it in a normal way on like an iMac. Same thing when you are typing something on iMac and you try to open it in the PC. They just don't talk to each other very well. So it's always best to use a different format like rich text. So once you've decided what you want to call your document and what type of format you're going to save it in, where you're going to save it, you would just hit save and then it'll be there for you to open up later on. So I'm going to save this as a generic ODF. I'm going to call it dog with flower, and I am going to save it in my documents. Now the reason I'm going to save this is because I want to close this and show you that if I go into Microsoft Word and I open this, there it is, dog with flower. And there it is. You can see it's exactly the same way that I had saved it before. Occasionally, when you're going from one program to another, you might see some slight changes. Sometimes it depends on what fonts are available. Sometimes it depends on how the coding is actually working. But for the most part, you should see that they are identical. Whatever changes do happen to take place in the process, you can fix in the new program you're working with. Usually it's not a big deal, but just be aware that it is possible for there to be slight differences. Overall though, as you can see, it looks exactly the way it did when I created it in LibreOffice. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm going to go back into LibreOffice. So besides the Writer program, which is for creating written documents, they also have a Calc, which is a spreadsheet. Calc is great for doing anything that you would want to do on Microsoft Excel. It is a spreadsheet. It allows you to organize your information, make calculations. Last week we did a class on using Google Sheets, which is the same thing. So if you want to get kind of a idea of how to work with the program, make sure you check that out. We have some earlier videos too that also address the worksheets. That's kind of the most requested thing I get is how to use these worksheets. So check out our previous videos and keep looking forward because we'll be making some more. But just taking a look at the top here, our toolbar looks very similar to the one that we had previously. There's your buttons for your more basic things here, specific to the program here. Your font control is still right here, and then some added things that deal with this program. But overall, it's arranged almost the same. Menus work the same way. File menu has all of your command functions. Edit menu has all of the things that help you select things. This one has a view button, which allows you to view this page in different ways, view certain things on the page, turn things on and off. Insert has almost the exact same things that you saw under Writer, as well as formatting. Formatting has a few other things added. Since when you're working with a spreadsheet, you're working with rows and columns, you have the options to change those rows and columns. Okay, you have styles, still there. Sheet has different things that you can look at for changing the actual worksheet. And then if you want to organize your data, there's your data. Your tools, pretty similar to what you saw in the Writer program. So same thing applies. You can open up Excel documents here, make changes. You can save this and open it up in Excel. When you're saving, it's kind of the same idea. You go to Save As, title the document. Now, this time you'll notice that it's an open source, but it's an open source spreadsheet. The last one was an open source text document. That's to let the other program know that when you open it, this is meant to be a worksheet, that's meant to be text. You can't really interchange that because you're using the program to create this. So using a spreadsheet program, it's going to save it as an open source spreadsheet. You do, like before, have the option of saving it in the recent version of Microsoft Excel. Now, the one thing this does not have necessarily is a rich text version, but it does have other things that you can use depending on what you plan to do with this document. But make your choice, decide how you want to save it, and then just like before, you'd be able to open it up using any of the other similar programs. So remember, if you want to learn how to use this specific program, check out our other videos that will walk you through the specifics of actually using this program. We're going to go ahead and close it up for the moment. Go back into LibreOffice and check out our next one, which is Impress. This is for presentations. This one is equivalent to Microsoft's PowerPoint, or Google Slides if you like using Google Slides. You can start by choosing a template to kind of get you started. These are nice because it organizes your slides, makes them look a little bit more professional, and just kind of gives it a different look. And these are nice, they're kind of unique. I will warn you that of all the programs, when it comes to transitioning to its counterparts, this one will have some issues. Not so much that your content's going to change, but it has to do more with these themes, these way your slides look. They don't share these templates with each other. So these templates are specific to LibreOffice. PowerPoint's templates are specific to PowerPoint, and Google Slides templates are specific to Google Slides. They don't necessarily open up very well with each other. It's just it's a technical thing, stuff that is above our pay grade, but that's okay. If you were just to do a plain slideshow with nothing fancy, just pictures and words, then you would be fine all across the board. The fancier you get, the more likely you are to have things not translate well into other programs. So that might be a case of, if I'm going to show this on, say, Google Slides, I should create it in Google Slides. If I'm going to show this using LibreOffice, I should create it in LibreOffice. That way you don't have to run into that risk of things altering in ways that you didn't expect or count on. So if you don't want to use any of these, you can just cancel and go into working on a plain slide. Again, the menu and toolbars are pretty similar to what we've seen before. There is a slight difference that we don't have the font controls up here at the moment. But if I click into a box that says click to add text, you'll notice that on the right hand side, those things now pop up. So this gives me quick access to whatever I'm doing here in my workspace, and this gives me access to my organization. In other words, this will show me what I'm creating, this will give me the tools, and this is my area for creating. So creating a slideshow is not a difficult thing. It just takes a little bit of planning. You need to decide what you want in your slideshow. Is it going to be just pictures? Am I going to have words mixed with pictures? What's the purpose of your slideshow? Are you trying to pass on information, like teach? If so, then you might need a mix of words and pictures. Or maybe you're just trying to show everybody your wonderful vacation. Maybe it's mostly just pictures. So making that decision first is going to direct what happens next with everything else that you do. So I'm going to close this for a second. Okay. File buttons, pretty much the same as you've seen already. Hardly anything has changed there. Edit buttons, same thing. View will always change slightly to reflect the program you're working with. So in this case, we have more things that have to do with our slides that we're creating. Insert's always going to be pretty much the same, because it's all about adding things to your document. In this case, we're adding things to our presentation. Format is always going to be the tools that you need to change text in the document or slideshow. This has a new button for us. It's the slide button. This allows us to play with the slide itself. You know, the size of the slide, um, what kind of slide, what is going to be allowed on the slide, is it going to have a background image, things like that. We also have the slideshow button because when you're creating a presentation like this, a slideshow, it's something you want to show people. It's part of the word, slideshow. And so this allows you to do that. It gives you the controls to make a presentation. Then you have your tools. Now, unlike some of the other programs, since this is a visual way of presenting something, you do have the ability to insert some things that you might not find useful in the other areas. Sound is one of those things that can be inserted into your presentation, or videos can also be inserted into your presentation because it is a visual tool for giving a presentation. So when you want to do those things, you would just click on the button and then it'll ask you what audio or what video images do you want to insert. So you would find those. Like if I wanted to put music in, I would find the music that I want to put in, click open, and then it will add that music to my presentation. It'll also give me some controls so that I can change, where the music starts, where the music ends, how long does it play for, how loud should it be, all that fun stuff. Same for the videos. Again, if you want to learn more about creating presentations, please check out our other videos. We have one on using Google Slides, which if you can learn how to use Google Slides, you can apply that across the board to PowerPoint or this easily. But keep staying tuned too. We will be having some specific classes dedicated to using just this program. Okay, I'm going to close this out, not save it. We're going to go back into LibreOffice. Next one we're going to look at is Draw. Now, this one does not really have an equivalent. Some people will compare it to Microsoft Publisher. It is similar in some ways, but the key thing that I do want you to understand about Publisher versus this program, they are not compatible. I have made attempts to open Publisher files on this program, and it did not read the files very well. Some of it came up, some of it was out of place, some of it was just completely messed up. I do not recommend trying to open Publisher files in this program. If you need to use this program, you need to create whatever you're doing separately. And if you have Publisher files that you need to use for some reason, you're going to have to just use Publisher with Publisher, because it will not translate in the way that you want it to. But as far as using this program to create, it is a great program for that. It works the same as all the others that we've talked about. You'll notice the toolbar is a little smaller on this one because the popular tools appear here. Again, just like when working in the slideshow, if you add, say, a text box, the text features will pop up here on the right hand side so that you can use those to edit or format your document. Draw is more of a visual program, so whatever you're going to create here is going to end up being something more visual. Posters, flyers, greeting cards, things of that nature. One of the things that you might want to consider when you are working with this program is looking at the properties, because you might decide you want to change things up a little bit. If you click on Format and Page Properties, it will bring up your page controls. So, like if you want this to be landscape instead of portrait, if you want it to have a special background like a color or a picture or something, if you want it to be kind of transparent, you can add that transparency here. So you do have a lot of visual tools. Also the ability to insert a lot of these different things, shapes, boxes, things that are like that. Now the fun thing about this program that I like is when you're done, you have a few options. You can of course save it as it's ODF drawing. ODG is the type, which is fine. Notice that this one does not give you as many different options for saving. So you either save it as its draw type or one of those other two. However, if you are creating something and then you want to publish it, if you know what I mean, you have the export option. This one allows you to export this as a PDF document, which PDF is basically publishing it into a document format that can't be changed. You also have just the plain regular export button, which will allow you to export it into a different format. So PDF is one of those options, but you can also export it into a picture format, like a GIF, a JPEG, a PNG, a TIFF file. So that's a nice little option that you have when you're done with document. So saving might not be the best, but publishing is wonderful. The final two programs we'll look at once we get the LibreOffice suite open again. So we have Math Formula and Base Database. Now, Base Database, if you've ever used Microsoft Access, it's very similar to that. However, it's not necessarily compatible with Access the way some of these other programs have been. So, might be something that you want to look at later on, learn how to use first before you get into it. I did start one just so we could look at what it looks like. But if you're not familiar with databases, it's going to look like some strange alien program that you have no idea what to do with. It's not hard to learn how to use a database, and check back our channel later on for tutorials on how to go through using a simple database. But for the time being, if it's something you're familiar with, the option is there for you to use. And if it's something that you have not used before, consider getting some training first before you pop it open and start working on inside the program. The last one we're going to look at is the math calc, or math formula, sorry. Now this is a interesting and yet strange little program. I personally have not had a whole lot of time to really go through this particular program because the need for it hasn't come up yet. But my understanding is that there are different math operations here that you can use to put in and then have it do the calculations for you. Kind of like having your own sort of graphing calculator, scientific calculator here on the computer. Probably better options out there for you, but This program is here if you want to give it a shot, play with it, see what you can do. Uh, I, again, personally have not had any use for it yet. So um, stay tuned. We'll venture and take a closer look at this one also later on in the future. Just be aware that it is here and it does come with the suite. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on today's Tech Time, our look at LibreOffice Suite. As always, if you have any questions on any of these or how to use it, how to download it, just give us a call, ask for me, and I'll be happy to walk you through. Check out our other tutorial videos that are related to some of the programs that we've looked at today, and uh, please tune into our other programming. We have lots of different things happening. We have Creative Corner with Josh. We have um, Kids Time with Anne. We have Crafty Kids with Henrietta. So lots to see and do on our library's social media, Facebook and YouTube. As always, please leave a comment or um, make sure to like our page. And if you haven't done so yet, go to our YouTube page and subscribe. We don't have very many subscribers, and we'd really like to see that increase. Plus, you'll have access to all of our videos. So, thanks again for joining us on today's Tech Time.